one of my favorite archetypes to share with all of you, and that archetype is Suships. I'm sure many of you will not have read any of these cards, so I will run down each card available. As an overview of the archetype, it is a set of fire aqua monsters that revolve around a normal monster, Gunkan Suship Shari. The basic theme is that this normal monster is the hull of the extra deck Xyz monsters, and the other monsters in the theme constitute the weaponry on those battleships. These cards were first released in the Dawn of Majesty set and have received 2 waves of support, with the second half of their cards being released in Burst of Destiny, and then finally, their best card in Power of the Elements. 3 core sets and a year after their initial release. Without further ado, let's get these Sushi battle cruisers out of the dry docks. The first card is the aforementioned normal monster, Gunkan Suship Shari, a level 4 fire aqua with a whopping 2000 attack and 0 defense. This is the base of all your plays in the Sushi deck, and is very pivotal to the course of your duel. Gunkan Suship Shari Red is the newest card for the theme, and really raises the ceiling of the deck. Firstly, the card is always treated as Gunkan Suship Shari, except when the card is banished. This allows all of the other Gunkan Suship card effects to substitute this card for the original normal monster. Additionally, this card has the amazing effect to reveal another Gunkan Suship Shari, to special summon itself, and then optionally summon another Gunkan monster from the deck, and then quick Xyz into the appropriate battleship. Now that we have established the 2 varieties of hulls, let's discuss the armaments that adorn our Fishy vessels. First up for the salty munitions is the fish row, Gunkan Suship Akura. Originally released alongside the normal monster in Dawn of Majesty, this card features an inherent special summon as long as you control a monster named Gunkan Suship Shari, and then has an ignition effect to reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, and then special summon, or add to hand, a Gunkan Suship Shari found amongst them. This was exclusively used to special summon before the release of Shari Red, but now it allows you to set up a longer combo chain to bolster your fleet. The associated battleship that is created by this weapon is Gunkan Suship Akura class Dreadnought. Like all Gunkan Suship Xyz monster, this rank 4 card has an effect that activates on Xyz summon based on the materials used to summon it. Common to all of the extra deck monsters, if a Shari is used, you draw a card. Then, if the appropriate battlement is used as material, in this case Akura, an additional unique effect is applied. Akura allows this Xyz monster to attack twice for a potential damage of 4400 attack. Additionally, when a Gunkan monster summoned from the extra deck deals battle damage, this card can target and destroy 1 card your opponent controls. If you aren't a fan of Fishy Row, maybe Icefish or Shirao are to your fancy. This popular rear-world topping for Sushi features as another possible weapon for the Gunkan Armada. This card, as an activated effect, can summon itself to the field if a Shari is on field, or an Xyz monster made using Shari as material is present. This positions Shirao as an excellent extender, especially if drawn off a Gunkan Xyz monster effect. Additionally, this card can be a starter, as it has an ignition effect to summon another Gunkan card from hand, and then put as many cards called Gunkan Suship Shari on top of the deck in any desired order. This means that you could load the top 6 cards of your deck with all Gunkan Suship Shari, the prospect of which I find quite funny. So when the powers of Icefish and White Rice are combined, the helpful Gunkan Suship Shirao class carrier arises. As before, this card allows you to draw a card if made using Shari, and then Shirao allows you to add a Gunkan spell trap to your hand. Finally, while there is a field spell in the field, Gunkan extra deck monsters cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects, and they gain attack equal to their original defense. The final weapon is Gunkan Suship Uni, pronounced Uni, O-O-N-E-E, as I have learned during the course of research for this video. This topping is actually sea urchin roe, and is a popular ingredient in sushi and pasta. This card is the lone level 5 in the archetype, and it has an interesting effect. It allows you to reveal itself and another Gunkan card. If this revealed card is a Shari, you may special summon the Shari, and then also the Uni. If it is not Shari, then it's placed on the bottom of the deck. Once on the field, this card can manipulate its level to 4, or other cards level to 5. This provides access to the archetype's rank 5 Gunkan Suship Uni class Super Dreadnought. The flagship vessel of the fleet, this Super Dreadnought can attack directly if it's made using the proper ingredients, and then during your main phases, or your opponent's battle phase, it can target cards on the field your opponent controls equal to the number of Gunkan Suship monsters summoned from the extra deck, and then it negates their effects at quick effect speed. Finally, the spells and trap cards provide the setting for the creation of this Suship seaworthy fleet. Gunkan Suship Yard Seaside Supper Spot is a field spell that allows you to put a Gunkan card on the top of your deck as a trigger effect whenever Gunkan Suship monster is summoned. This allows you to chain block the effect of the Xyz monsters to draw, and load the exact card that you need on top of your deck. Or this could be used to set up a play using Akura to tutor a Shari Red to your hand. Finally, the Gunkan Suship Daily Special is a trap card that allows you to add a Gunkan card to your hand in a roundabout manner, by letting your opponent choose from 3 options, unless you have a Shari revealed. Additionally, it allows you to recycle your Suships into the deck to draw a card. So that's the rundown of the Gunkan Suship Armada. Let's look over some staples that are important to the archetype. The first relevant staple is Painful Decision. Painful Decision is a card that has been utilized in Suships for a long time, but until the release of Shari Red was much less useful. Now you can use this card to send a copy of the regular normal monster to the grave to add Shari Red to your hand. This helps a lot with the consistency of the deck. Additionally, Unexpected Die is a necessary inclusion because although it can only summon the original normal monster, both Ikura and Shirao special summon themselves if there is a Shari on the field. Finally, as Suships are largely a rank 4 strategy, I think that some number of Phantom Knights of Shade Brigadine are probably necessary. Now, it is time for the good stuff. Let's look at 2 going second deck lists. Firstly, a list using Kaijus. This list features all of the main deck Gunkans at 3, except for Uni, which doesn't do anything by itself. Moreover, we only played 2 copies of the field spell, and 1 of the daily specials as targets for Shirao to add to hand. Featured in this list are the aforementioned Kaijus and Interrupted Kaiju Slumber, and 3 copies of Parallel Exceed. The latter card is an excellent extender that usually allows you to complement your fleet of Sushi battleships with another rank 4, such as Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon or Abyss Dweller. Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon is excellent in this deck as a tool to make a 4-material Zeus that locks down the game if we are not able to OTK our opponent. Now, many of you may turn your head at the inclusion of Prosperity in this deck, as all of the Gunkan Xyz monsters draw a card. Interestingly, because the effect is phrased the way it is, if you have resolved Prosperity before summoning a Gunkan Suship Xyz monster, the card simply doesn't draw, even if you used a Shari, and still allows you to gain the additional unique effect. Moreover, the pots of Prosperity are very helpful to ensure that you either find a board breaker before starting your plays, going second, draw into side deck tech cards such as Floodgates, or simply let you see a Shari Red and some other Shari so as to put up an instant Xyz monster. This card is by no means necessary, however, as it is quite expensive, and the deck is fairly competent without it, with Pot of Desires being a viable, albeit a bit riskier, as you may banish a lot of your Gunkan Suship Shari names, alternative. Let's have a look at a second list. While very similar to the last list, and significantly less refined, this list does show an interesting tech pioneered by another Yugi tuber for their Adventure Crusadia list, namely Spanko YGO. The addition to this list this time is a card released in Legendary Duelist Duels from the Deep, the spell card 7th Ascension. This spell allows you to add rank up magic, the 7th one, to your hand, and then, as a separate effect, you can banish the 7th Ascension from your graveyard and discard the rank up magic while your opponent controls a monster summoned from the extra deck to activate the effects of the rank up magic without having to draw it. This allows you to summon number 104 Masquerade and then overlay number C104 Umbral Horror Masquerade. Alternatively, you could summon number 101 Silent Honor Arc and then overlay into Silent Honor Dark, which is useful because number 101 is more useful as a rank 4 monster than number 104 Masquerade, but Honor Dark is less useful than Umbral Horror Masquerade, so you would have to decide that for yourself. While this admittedly is a more niche tech card, going second, there's a really high chance this card will be live against most matchups, and it is very powerful when it is. So that's it for the Suship Armada as of now. I personally believe that the deck is best served as a hard-going second strategy, using the new Shari Red card to effortlessly create an impressive fleet of Sushi battleships and overwhelm your opponent. While by no means tier 1 or meta, this deck is a really fun strategy that I hope you will give a chance, as the cards are ridiculously cheap. My final question for all of you is one that me and my wife argue about every time we bust this deck out. Are the Gunkans sushi-sized ships, or are they ship-sized sushi? Thank you for everyone for sticking around to the end of this video, and I hope you enjoyed this little foray into scripted content. If you have any suggestions, alternate builds of the deck, or just interesting comments, feel free to leave them below. Thanks everyone. Goodbye from Morphing Jars.